Thanks everybody for coming to the live version, and if you're watching the recorded version, I appreciate you taking the time to be here and get involved with what we at the Knights of Cornucopias are trying to put together here. We want to get us as a community involved with Cardano Catalyst because we're not just a Cornucopias community, we're not just our own guild, we are a part of the greater Cardano community. Uh, There we go. Who am I? I know you guys generally know who I am, who's on the live stream, and probably a lot of you that are watching the recorded version know who I am as well. My name is Josh. I'm a content creator over at Late Game Crypto. I am a crypto maximalist, Cardano enthusiast, Cornucopias obsessed, and the latest member of the Knights of Cornucopias Roundtable. I've been here for all of 5 minutes, so I'm grateful for the Knights of Cornucopias for allowing me to just like jump straight in and build this program that we're trying to put together and just teach people more about Cardano Catalyst. Um, Catalyst is something that I'm very passionate about. I think it's an important piece of Cardano infrastructure. I think that it's a unique piece of community-driven funding that doesn't exist anywhere else, and I'm grateful to be a part of it. Ever since Fund 8, which was earlier this year, I have been absolutely obsessed with Cardano Catalyst. I was a proposal assessor in both Fund 8 and 9. I have written 171 lifetime proposal reviews, and 152 of those were actually valid, were actually taken. In my career as a Catalyst PA, I have earned upwards of something like 30,000 ADA, which I'm gonna stop repeating pretty soon because it's starting to sound like braggy and gross, but we'll move on. The goals for today's presentation. Everything you absolutely need to know about Cardano Catalyst is going to be found in this presentation. You will be able to participate in Cardano Catalyst as a proposal assessor after this presentation. You'll know what to expect and what to do in the role of a proposal assessor. You will have a general understanding of the proposal assessor reward structure, and you'll be aware of all of the tools that you have at your disposal to be able to navigate through this space and uh, just be a part of Cardano Catalyst, know where the information feeds are, and know what to expect, both before and after and during the Catalyst funding rounds. And after this presentation, this will be the base layer of like understanding everything to do. In future presentations, we're going to go over strategies about how to optimize your performance in Cardano Catalyst so that you can write proposals that have the best shot at earning the most rewards possible. What is Cardano Catalyst? I want to get that straight. The mission statement of Project Catalyst is that it's a series of experiments which seeks to generate the highest levels of community innovation. I think that's important to highlight because I can't tell you how many times in different proposal assessments that I have referred back to this mission statement. It's about community innovation, and there are a lot of proposals out there that don't appear to contribute anything new to the space. They propose ideas that either already exist in the Cardano community or aren't really necessary. And that doesn't really do much for innovation. It doesn't bring anything new to the space. Cardano Catalyst, in my own words, is a community-driven fundraising program, a grant-giving program that intends to democratically fund innovations that the community wants to see developed. So that's why they want to be seeing normal people's opinion. They want to see general Cardano community members in there voicing their opinions and talking about what you want to see and why or why you don't want to see a given proposal pass through a given round. A Catalyst round happens once every 3 to 4 months. So typically there's about 3 to 4 opportunities throughout a year to be able to participate in a round. What does a proposal assessor do? This is the initial role that anybody can participate in Cardano Catalyst as. All you have to do is sign up for a profile and be ready when the time comes. A proposal assessor is a community member that participates in the quality assurance of Catalyst proposals. You're basically writing, I've heard Jay Crypto say before that you're basically writing Yelp reviews for Catalyst proposals. What your perceptions are as a normal community member, and why you think it's a good or bad thing. You'll rank them. We'll talk about that in a second. Proposal assessors write voter reviews for submitted proposals within a 1 to 2 week assessor period during a given Catalyst round. So a lot of the times you'll see posts out there that say Catalyst Fund 10 is live, but that doesn't mean that it's your turn to start doing stuff. For the first 3 to 4 weeks, I think is the proposal writing period where the proposers, the different projects that are seeking funding, they're in the process of writing their proposals, and as a proposal assessor, you can watch that happen in real time. You can watch the site and you can keep an eye on different proposals that you may or may not want to end up reviewing when it comes time for your turn. The proposal assessor is a performance-based role. It is rewarded based on the quality of your proposal reviews according to the criteria that they give. I don't want that quality word to scare anybody away as if you have to be an amazing writer or as if you have to stick to a set of given rules or something like that. The quality is really just about what it is, what thoughts they want to be seeing from the community, what different things are important to you, and they make it very clear in the review criteria that there are a lot of people around the globe that might not have English as their first language, so they absolutely do not expect that uh, that your proposals are going to be written in amazingly clear English that is articulated to just this amazing level. That's not what quality means in this context. After participating as a proposal assessor in 2 consecutive Catalyst rounds, you can be invited to participate as a veteran proposal assessor, which is a much more labor-based model versus a merit-based model. So that's kind of nice. If you earn your way up, then like there's a way that you can kind of guarantee that you will be compensated for the effort that you put into it. And we'll probably have a presentation on that a little later down the road once we get established as a guild. How do you sign up for Cardano Catalyst? This is something that you can do now, and we discussed this in a couple of chats that we had in the Cardano Catalyst or the Knights Catalyst Discord page. You can go to the link here, and if you're watching the recording, this link and any other links that I put in this presentation will be found in the description. You can go to this link, you can register with an email and a password, and then it will send you an email verification where there'll be a verification code in there, and then you'll come back to the website and plug in that code, and then you're good. Your account is all set up. Once you've logged into your profile, you can update your profile information, name, username, time zone that you're in, and it will ask you for 2 Cardano wallet addresses. And this is important because the first Cardano wallet that you plug in is going to be for your role as a proposal assessor, and that address is anonymous. They will not be attaching your name to that address when they distribute rewards. But the second address that you put in there under the veteran proposal assessor field, that one is going to be public. They publish all of the veteran proposal efforts, all of the labor that they've put into it. They publish that with your name attached to it. So if you do not want to compromise the privacy of one of your Cardano wallet addresses, I suggest either creating another one or one that you don't mind being compromised as far as identity goes. How do you do the proposal assessor thing? Well, when it comes time for an assessor phase, which I mentioned before is about 3 weeks into the beginning of a Catalyst round, your account will be enabled to begin reviewing proposals. When you've selected a proposal that you'd like to review, you will type out your thoughts at the bottom of the page in 3 given categories. Those categories are impact, feasibility, and auditability. And in each of these fields, you will rank the proposal according to the quality of each category that is there. It'll be a 1 to 5 star rating. And let me see here. This is what a proposal looks like. There are different categories that will have different forms of information according to what they're supposed to fill out. There's the impact section that will always be there. There's the feasibility section that will always be there. And then there's the auditability section, and that will always be there. Each of these different categories, this proposal doesn't actually have a lot of meat to it, but normally there will be a lot more content that you can work with to evaluate. This won't really give you much to evaluate, but it was just easy to navigate because there was not much there. Now, down here at the bottom, actually, will that let me? Oh, that's perfect. Okay, here we go. When the assessor phase opens, there will be a window here that will open up, and because it's not time for it right now, you can't actually review anything, but there will be, in this field here, there will be 3 different categories for you to submit your reviews in, and you'll fill in your content there. I'll talk about some strategies and stuff a little bit more in the next presentation, but just in case you don't end up watching that, I suggest using either a Word document or a Google Docs document while you're filling out these proposals, because I've had times before where I'm typing directly into the website here, and then something happens where the website crashes, or maybe my internet gets interrupted or something like that, and then I just lose all of the content that I've typed there before actually having a chance to save it. So that's something to prevent a time waster there. When you have completed each field, when you've done your review for the impact section, you'll click save. And then when you're done with the feasibility section, you'll click save after that. There's sometimes some confusion in there about how it is that you submit a proposal. It's much more simple than people often realize. After you've saved everything, you've saved all 3 fields, that's it. You're done. It has been submitted, and once the review period comes around, then they're just gonna take what has been saved and they will evaluate those. That's all you got to do. When you are writing proposals, pretend that you are on Shark Tank, if you've seen that TV show. But instead of, a panel of rich people, you're a panel of just normal people that have unique human experiences. Cardano Catalyst wants to hear what your experience is with different proposals, and a lot of us don't have experiences in, I don't know, smart contract development or some kind of a developer outreach type things. There's a lot of proposals in these different categories. You don't have to go and review those ones. You can pick which proposals you review, and if you want to, you can choose to only review gaming proposals or NFT proposals. You have a lot of control in what it is that you participate in, and that'll help to maximize your success. We'll talk about that more in the next presentation. We're going to break down each of these different categories to explain what they are and what it is that you're supposed to be looking at in each of these sections. So the impact section, and every time I describe what the proposer's role is supposed to be in this section, is probably going to be a in theory part, because proposers a lot of the times do not fulfill the requirements of what they're supposed to be providing content for. So this is what a good proposal is supposed to look like. If it's a good proposal, then it has these elements in it. What a proposer's role is supposed to be in the impact section. When they write out their proposal, they will describe what they intend to accomplish, the problems that they intend to solve, and the major risks that stand against the goals of the proposal. In this section, as a proposal assessor, you will review the proposal's articulated impact on the world, on Cardano, on the greater cryptocurrency industry, according to a variety of different factors. Those factors are, but not limited to, cost. If the proposal achieves their wildest goals and they do everything perfectly, would the cost be worth it? Are they actually asking a reasonable amount for what they're trying to do? Normally, proposals will ask for something around $30,000. But this next catalyst round is going to be a little bit different. I don't remember if I wrote down this in the presentation. The denominated currency that they're operating off of in Fund 10 and onward, at least until further notice, it's actually going to be denominated in ADA, not in US dollars. So that could very much change the perception of what it is that proposals are asking for in terms of value, because they are trying to do real world things. They've got people that they have to pay, they've got expenses that they've got to pay for, and that is going to be denominated a lot of the times in fiat currencies. Um, so we'll see how that works out. I want you to be aware of that, but generally speaking, proposals will request about $30,000. When you're reviewing the problem, you want to evaluate whether or not the problem statement is an actual problem. If there's a proposal trying to build something like a blockchain-based gamer chat, that doesn't feel, at least to me, like an actual problem that needs to be solved. We have Discord. What is the issue with using Discord, and why does it have to be a blockchain-based technology? What impact does that make on the world? What problem is that actually solving? And if they argue it well, this very much could be a potentially good proposal. But just analyze the problem and determine for yourself if you believe that this is an actual problem that is worth solving. And then that's the next thing that you're going to want to review is solvency. Does the proposal effectively address the problem statement? Do they prove that they can actually do it? And do they honestly assess the risks? This is something that a lot of proposals lack. They will oftentimes say something that the risks against their proposal is that they don't get funding for it. And I mean, in my mind, that just sounds kind of manipulative, but also not really honest. The honest proposals that really demonstrate that they've put a lot of good thought into their proposal has a variety of different risks that they are aware of. If they're not aware of it, that's a problem. But if they demonstrate that they are aware of a variety of different risks, it means that they've thought about it. It means that they're prepared for it. And that's what I look for when evaluating this point. The feasibility section. Proposers, in theory, will write out what their plan is to accomplish their goals. They will establish what the core team's qualifications are and how efficiently they will budget the requested funds. The proposal assessor's role in this is to evaluate the resume. You want to look at, when you're looking at the core team's qualifications, do they list LinkedIn profiles that you can actually look at public record for? Do they list their education? Do they have enough experience to actually reasonably accomplish the proposal that they have ahead of them? And there are a lot of proposals that they'll request funds and they don't have a team yet. And I call that out every single time because even in a lot of my videos, I constantly repeat that the first step in a honest quality fundamentals review, it, it starts with whether or not the team is capable, whether or not the team can actually execute on the goals. Because if they can't, it stops there. There's no reason to move forward because they can't do it. You also want to be looking at the roadmap. What is their time frame set? What's the details of what they plan to do at each juncture? What is the full scale that they intend to accomplish over a given time frame? This, I understand, is going to be, I mean, it's difficult for me a lot of the times. I have no clue what it takes to build out a smart contract that's written in Haskell. I have no clue what that time frame looks like. I'm not a coder. A lot of you guys, I'm sure, are not coders. And there's lots of things in this space that we're not going to entirely understand. When you're evaluating the roadmap section, I don't want you to go into it thinking that you have to understand every little step that they intend to accomplish. I just want you to the best of your reasonable ability, make sure that they have steps established. Because a lot of the times that it's not there. In proposals, you'll see a lot of proposals that say in 2 to 3 months time we're going to build the app, and then 2 months after that we're going to market, and then 3 months after that is just feedback and correction. That's not enough detail for me to reasonably guess that they actually have a detailed established plan set up to accomplish the goals that they want to move forward with. Uh, in this section, I just want you to be convinced that they understand what they're doing, that they have a plan for it that is detailed and specific. The last point I think is the more important ones because as Cardano Catalyst proposal assessors, we're sort of recommending how the community spends money. So I think it's a very important role as a proposal assessor to evaluate whether or not the proposal is cost effective. Is the industry standard of labor per hour reasonable? Are they overpaying themselves? Or sometimes I even call it out if they're underpaying themselves. Is the budget detailed? It is going to be denominated in ADA, so we'll see how they end up breaking that down or how that changes how people understand proposals. But there are other expenses other than labor. Labor is usually the biggest one, but what kind of marketing budgets are they going to need? What kind of hard material assets are they going to need? These are the kinds of things that you kind of want to, I guess at. Like if you were the one that was building this particular proposal, what kind of things would you plan for? And is that spending efficient? I don't want you to get caught up in what you don't know, because in the feasibility section specifically, there's probably going to be a lot of content that you don't know much about. You won't know a lot of what qualifications are good for a specific role. But you can kind of guess that maybe somebody with a year of experience as a coder or a year of experience as a developer might not have all of the necessary experience to build a quality decentralized application. So apply what you can kind of guess at. I want you to focus on what you do know. I want you to focus on what questions you can ask. Because if there are questions that you have that the proposal does not present, then they are not doing their job. That's not that you're not at fault there if you don't understand something. The proposal, you got to remember, is not just for proposal assessors to is not just for proposal assessors to read and evaluate on. We're talking about everyday Cardano community members that have to read these proposals and they have to understand them so that they can vote on whether or not they think it's good. So the proposal's goal, the proposal's responsibility is to simplify it so that you can understand it. So don't get caught up on what you don't know. Focus on what you do know or what questions you can ask. And in this section in particular, uh, have there's going to be a lot of little details that you go into and break down. There's going to be a lot of things that you hyper focus on, but don't forget to zoom out and look at the bigger picture and account for recidivism. What I mean by that is there are a lot of proposals out there that submit multiple proposals. So you'll see a lot of the same content if you do as many proposals as I do in a given round. You'll probably see a couple of them that feel familiar because proposers will copy and paste a lot of the content that they put into a given proposal, and they will put it into another proposal, but that has a slightly different intention to it. Like, I've seen proposals that will submit for a request of funding so that they can do a security audit. But then in another proposal, they will request funding so that they can build out their application. Or another proposal that will be so that they can hire and pay developers. So like it's not supposed to be your responsibility to know that there are other proposals out there, but I do want you to be mindful of it. That there's a section in each proposal that asks if they're going to be coming back for funding or if anybody on the team is applying for additional funding in this given round. Uh, they should be disclosing that, but sometimes they don't. It's just something that I want you to be aware of. Like, does this proposal actually cover everything that they need to do? That's not as important as the previous content that we went over. I think this particular section is one of the more complex sections of evaluating proposals. But I want you to focus on the first part of it. If you forget the zoom out and account for repeat proposals, if you forget that part, that doesn't bother me because that's really not supposed to be your responsibility. That's a Catalyst problem. That's something that they need to work on. The final section is the auditability section. Proposers are supposed to explain how they define, how they measure, and how they sustainably continue to see success as a result of this proposal being approved. This is by far the most neglected section that most proposers write out. It's got the least content in it. Arguably, it's the most important because it ties everything together. It tells you that they actually are going somewhere, that they are actually aiming at something, and how it is that they measure success. This is always my shortest section, at least most of the time it's my shortest section, so it probably will be for you too. Uh, and in this section, because it's neglected a lot of the time, I often end up explaining what the proposal is missing in this section. So this one will probably be easy a lot of the times if you follow my criteria because you can point out everything that they're missing, everything that they can do better, and that'll be good like quality constructive criticism that you can provide in this section. As a proposal assessor, you're supposed to review how well the proposal establishes a vision. Do they comprehensively define success beyond just product completion? I can't tell you how many times I have seen proposals write out that their understanding of success is the completion of the application. If you have the most amazing DApp that is built out, but nobody actually uses it, it makes zero impact on the world, and the funds that have been approved for that have been essentially wasted. Success is not defined just by completion of a product, and that is a common theme that you will see with a lot of proposals. They just say, "We want to complete the app, and then we're good." That's what we see as success. You also want to be evaluating key performance indicators and measurables. Are they paying attention to relevant categories? Are they Do they set target metrics that they want to be hitting? Is there a time frame for those metrics? The best proposals will have all of these elements, and you won't see that very often. So there'll be a lot of stuff for you to point out that is missing, which is good for you because that kind of makes it easy. But the idea with this one is, are they actually setting an objective standard, something that everybody can understand, that says this is what we're paying attention to, and this is how we want to accomplish that category. Some examples of this can be, we want to onboard 10,000 users or 20,000 users. We want our DApp to see this amount of wallets connected. We want to see this amount of volume flowing through our application. Uh, things like that. Things that are actually measurable. Things that you can put a number to that say this is the level of success that we want to be seeing. After you have kind of established the KPIs or the measurables, you want to look at what the impact of those measurables are. What difference does it make in the world? What are the quantifiable impacts? And this ties directly back to the impact section. If they accomplish everything that they intend to accomplish, if they hit all of their KPIs, all of their measurables, they hit all of their wildest dreams and goals, does the cost actually warrant approving the proposal? I've seen a few proposals out there that want to, I don't know, put on like a live event, for example, and they expect to see 1,000 people attending their event. But then they're requesting something like $100,000 in order to make that happen. If you break that down, they're spending what, $100 per person, $10 per person? I can math. $100 per person. Depending on what the attendees look like or what the intention of the event is, that might not be worth it. It might not be worth it to spend $100 for a an event to present, I don't know, Cardano Catalyst to 1,000 attendees in a given area. That the ROI on that $100 per person is not going to come out to a net benefit for the Cardano ecosystem or the world, or it doesn't come back to what the grant funding is supposed to be there for. But then if it's a conference, something about, let's say, a developer conference, we want to talk to 1,000 developers to onboard them into the Cardano ecosystem, especially since Cardano experiences a shortage of developers a lot of the times. That $100 per person may actually be worth it in that case because we need developers, and $100 is not that much to convey information to a highly important population that's going to come back and contribute a lot more than that to the ecosystem. So in this section, I want you to quantify and cross-reference. In this section, I want you to refer back to the impact section. I want you to refer back to the feasibility section and determine if they are defining success, if they are measuring success, and if they are appropriately evaluating whether or not they can move forward with a reasonable amount of success. Okay, I want everybody to breathe. I know that was a lot of information. It is recorded, like I mentioned, so you can go back and refer a lot of what we just went over so that you can be just best prepared to understand the foundational information. Some of you guys might be encouraged because you understand better what it is that you're supposed to do in each section. Others of you might feel overwhelmed because you feel like I just threw a bunch of rules at you and responsibilities about what you're supposed to do as a Cardano Catalyst proposal assessor. That's not at all what it is. There are lots of proposal assessors that do not follow the criteria as I've laid it out, what I've given you is really just a checklist. It's a list of ways that you can evaluate and break down different aspects of a different proposal. You don't have to go with all of them, but this is supposed to be a guide that will help you go through it and know what points to look for. And especially since you're going to be reviewing multiple proposals in theory, I hope, uh, this will be a repetitive routine for you. It might be hard to grasp at first all of these different details that you need to break down, all of these different ways that you need to evaluate a given Catalyst proposal. Uh, wow, my mind blanked. I completely forgot where I was going with that. Just understand that that it's not a hard line fast rule. This is not a set of criterias, and if you miss some of these points, then you're going to be dinged, or you're not going to be successful in this. This is just the different ways that you can break it down, and it is going to get easier if you repeat this process. The routine, you'll get a hang of the checklist that I have provided for you. At this point, I want to take a pause, and if anybody has any questions, shoot.
Josh, it's Moody here,
Yeah,
mate. That was absolutely brilliant and really great information. So thank you so much
yeah,
for kicking us off, and also thank you to Juju because I know she's really passionate about this as well. What I was going to say is I think things like this scare a lot of people, as you've alluded to as well, and the advice I always give anyone when they're doing any kind of like a business case or some kind of like proposal is every single day, pretty much all of us do all of these things every day. When we go shopping, when we're buying a house, when we're buying a car, we all do these kind of like subconscious assessments and think things through in that logical sense. And I think the checklist you've provided is really good because it can help people translate what everyone can do, what everyone has to do, especially at the moment with the economy. So I think that it's a really valuable checklist and information pack. But I just encourage people, don't be scared. You do this every single day. Every time you go shopping, food shopping, or you want to buy a new TV or a new car, you're going through all of this thought process anyway. What value am I going to get from this? How much is it going to cost me? Do I want to pay for it upfront, or do I want to pay for it through finance? Most people do this kind of stuff every day, and this checklist, and with your expertise, Josh, will actually help people translate it into a really good proposal. So I just wanted to say thank you to you for presenting today, and it's a really good start, and I'm proud that you're part of the guild and picking us off in the nights. So thank you.
yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate that a lot, and uh, I want to follow up on that. That like I know some of you guys have expressed some nervousness or concern about participating in Cardano Catalyst, as if you don't have what it takes or something like that. And I will fight you to the death on that one because your perspective, your experience, your individual thoughts on any given thing is vastly more important than you realize. There are marketing researchers out there that pay money for everyday opinions, for normal people's opinions, because they want to get into your head and they want to understand what it is that you want to see. And that's no different in Cardano Catalyst. The community wants to know what the community is thinking about it. And you, as part of the community, that that is important. That will help people to shape what the perception is of a given proposal, and whether they or not voters want to vote that one up or down. So yeah, any questions? I do have a little bit more in
Well,
the. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, sorry. Well, maybe two questions.
Sure.
When we when we submit in a review, do we have to do it in all three categories: impact, feasibilities, and auditability? Um,
Yes. Yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah, you do have to
Okay.
fill out every single field, and it, the amount that you write isn't really supposed to be all that important, but the proposals that do make it through do have a relatively substantial amount of content. Um, I'd say, like, I personally write about 1,200 words per proposal, so 400 words for each field. Uh, in a minute, I'm gonna go over some historical reward documents, and you'll see that there are some other people that I'll get there when I get there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to jump
This,
ahead too far, but yes, you do have to fill out each field.
thanks. My second question is a bit normally when I'm thinking about a review, it's like, well, there are two ways making a review, and I'm asking now, is it also like that we actually directly asking them? It's like giving them a question, we're waiting for the answer is actually not their personal answer, it's changing the proposal so that I don't have that question anymore. Is it right this way?
Yeah, that's a very
Could I
good
explain?
question. Yeah, I'm glad that you
Yeah.
asked that because um, the audience that you are writing for is actually kind of like a two-sided audience. You are writing, the primary goal of it is for you to write to voters so that voters can look at your reviews and they can determine what their thoughts are based on what your experiences might be or based on what different key points you evaluated. So that is the vast amount of people that is going to be reading it, but you're also kind of writing towards the proposer. You're pointing out different things that the proposal could do better, things that the proposer falls short of, or things that they can add to their proposal in order to make it better. A lot of the proposals that you write reviews for, they're not going to get passed. And when they don't
Mm.
get passed, they'll come back around and they'll write again. And they're supposed to take your reviews in account and use that to make it better, to adapt to what they realize that they're missing. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Great.
Like you said before, we are everybody has something where he's really experienced with, and
Hmm.
I think it's really possible in that big range of categories that you find something where you can give a nice review.
Hmm.
So a good review
Yep.
with really deep content. Yeah,
Yep.
I like it. Thank you for your presentation. Very nice.
Absolutely. Somebody else had a question? Thought I heard somebody. All right. Well, if nobody else has any other questions, I'll go ahead and move on with this last part of the presentation. If I click the right button. There we go. Rewards. I thought this was a good point in the presentation to sort of get your imaginations running about what is possible to earn from Cardano Catalyst and what different stats look like and what the compensation looks like. In case you are wondering, that's me right there. Last round I submitted 102 proposals. I had 2.75% of all of the excellent reviews that were ranked that way. And also notice that I had 14 that failed, that got filtered out. I've seen plenty of failure in this, and I've still accumulated, I think, a decent amount. Like I was pretty satisfied with what I received. I was hoping that because the market had jumped up like right before I had gotten the rewards, the ADA that I received was less than I was hoping for. But that's fine. It's still fantastic. I think I broke it down to something like $85 an hour approximately. Um, Maybe a little bit more than that because it doesn't really take me an hour per proposal to do that. But anyways, uh, look at this top guy here. 201 proposals were submitted, and out of that, 130 were excellent reviews. This one individual person was responsible for 27.5% of all of the excellent reviews that went through. And you can do this too. I have gone into the Google Sheets documents that we have, and you can literally pull up all of the reviews that were written, what content was written there, how it was rated, and why it was rated that way. This person writes twice as much as I do. They write something like 2,400 words per proposal, like consistently. So maybe that has some kind of play. They're also a very good writer. I don't want to take away from that. This individual is a good writer. They gave very good criticisms, very thorough in their analysis, and I think this amount is plenty deserving. But look at this. $47,000, 631 cents. For a lot of people, even in America, that is a a year's salary easy, like more than a year's salary. And this was an amount of labor that probably took about 2 weeks to do. And if you imagine this opportunity coming around 3 to 4 times a year, like we're getting close to about $200,000 per year just from Cardano Catalyst, from like uh, 2 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months worth of work, $200,000. Like, sign me up. That is an outlier. That is somebody who performs exceptionally well. But if you come down here to somebody that performs maybe a little bit more normally, like 10 proposals in a given period, they're able to get 60% of those through as excellent proposals, and they're still coming out with $2,000, about 5,500 ADA piece. You can look at these stats. I think this is for Fund 9. This is for the most recent one, but I also have links for Fund 8 that you can go back and look at too. You can analyze the most successful proposal assessors and see what it is that they do, and you can look at how it is that they write, what different points that they hit. I try to do this to sort of refine what it is that I'm doing, and I've learned a lot from knowing how to approach things. And we'll talk a lot more about that in the next presentation. But yeah, this is what's possible. Like all of this right here, this is not abnormal. This is this is normal people that are out there just grinding away and trying to put in Catalyst proposals and trying to review to the best of their ability. And obviously they've got the criteria nailed on the head. So how does it work? The the goal for writing your proposals in terms of performance is to accumulate tickets. And the amount of tickets that you receive is going to be based on whether or not your proposal review is rated as an excellent or a good. Excellent reviews get 12 tickets, so 3 times as much as a good review gets. And I think that's one of the mistakes that I made in the last round, is that I tried to get out as many as possible, and I just grinded it through to try and get out as many. But if it takes me 2 hours to write an excellent review, and it takes me 1 hour to write a good review, my time is best spent in that 2 hours. I'm getting a greater ROI for my time if I am focusing on quality over quantity. So remember that quality comes over quantity. The filtered out reviews, the ones that do not meet the standard of what they're looking for, get 0. So there is obviously a risk of things that submitting proposals, spending time on things, and not getting anything out of it. But I wouldn't worry too much about that, because as long as you are fitting the criteria, as long as you're reviewing it according to what they're looking for, you're well in the good to excellent range. And we'll refine that. I'll be there to coach you through the whole thing and help you learn from my mistakes. Each ticket that you earn represents the share of a given proposal's requested funds. Whether or not that proposal gets approved, you get a portion of the funds that are requested. Uh, I don't know why they do it this way. I might even argue that sometimes that is it kind of a flawed way of going about reviewing because the most expensive proposals attract a lot more proposal assessors. So that may change in the future. We'll see, but I guess that also means that the more expensive ones get more criticism, like they get more attention and content about the. I don't know. I kind of get it, but we'll talk more about that in the strategies presentation. So there is room for strategy for different people to approach Cardano Catalyst in their own way, and I have a few different strategies to go about that. We'll talk about that in the next one. The tools that you have available to you. Communication feeds are absolutely important so that you know what to expect when time frames are coming around, when they're announcing different changes, uh, things that you need to be aware of. Cardano Catalyst is still very experimental. There's still a lot of rough edges, and they get delayed a lot. So time frames and things to pay attention to, those are definitely important to keep an eye on the communication feeds there. So if you're on Twitter, you can set reminders for tweets that go out. You can be in their Discord channel and just keep up to date there, or on Telegram if you're there. Education and information. Obviously, the Cardano Catalyst community site, you're going to find a lot of information there. It's not organized as well as I would like. Like I said, that's still very in development, still very experimental, but there are still lots of tools there that you can look at to be better prepared. There is a YouTube channel called The Catalyst School that I believe is independent. I don't think that they're actually a part of Catalyst officially, but I think they were approved for some funding in an earlier round, and now they run this YouTube channel to teach people about how to do this Catalyst thing. And there's more information there in addition to what we'll be doing within the nights, so that you can supplement your education there if you're interested. These two Google document files, the links that I've provided, these are the aggregated files for Fund 8 and 9. In these documents, you can look at all the proposals that were submitted. You can look at all of the filtered out ones. You can look at all of the ones that were ranked well. You can look at different proposal assessors and how well those individuals have performed in this. There's a variety of different things that you can use these documents for to learn how people that have been successful in this, you can learn how they do things. You can observe how it is that they do this, what they write, how it is that they got to where they are. And the proposal finder tool, that is going to be your bread and butter in this whole thing. It's a little bit more difficult to like scroll through the Cardano Catalyst funding site and just look for proposal titles that you think you might be interested in. And it also doesn't really allow you to adapt to whatever your given strategy is at the time. The tool allows you to filter proposals according to what you're looking for, and the ones that show up first are always going to be the ones with less proposals that were submitted for them, and that's good because there's less competition there. This one needs more attention. I guess that kind of like counteracts the cost one. But you can filter it out according to a variety of different things. If you only want to be doing play to earn proposals or NFT proposals or something that you have experience in, something that you are interested in reviewing about, maybe it's like humanitarian stuff. There's a lot of that stuff in Cardano Catalyst as well. You can use this tool to filter according to your strategy, according to the budget you're looking for, if you do want to end up targeting the more higher priced requested funds, or different categories that you want to aim for that are more in line with things that you're more familiar with. This tool is amazing. You should absolutely be using it, and there's a link for it both in the description of the recorded video, and we'll probably refer to it a lot in the Discord. That is the end of part 1. I know that was a lot of information. Again, it's going to be recorded. You can go back to it on the Knights YouTube channel and review whatever was here. And I am here in the Knights Discord if you have any questions about this presentation or about Catalyst in general, or how to go about things. And when the review process is actually going on, I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing that, as I always do. So I'm going to be here at my computer, and you can ask any questions about maybe a specific proposal, or how you might like to go about evaluating something. Just any questions that you have, I'm here. And if anybody watching the recording is not yet in the Knights Discord, jump in there. That's where I will be answering any questions that anybody has about Catalyst. Yeah, thanks again, everybody, for showing up, and you guys have a great rest of the day.